Okay, so this is our class person. We have three attributes. We have this constructor in which we are passing three parameters, and all of our attributes CNIC, first name and gender are being initialized within the constructor. And then we have these two methods that we are using to assign values to first name and gender, right? Okay, so let's write some test code. Okay, so let's take a look at our test code. In this line we are declaring two variables, right, id and name as string. In this line we are declaring one variable gen as character, and then we are taking the value of id from the user, we are taking the value of name from the user, and we are taking the value of gen from the user, right? So once we've taken these values from the user, we are instantiating our object p1 by calling the constructor, and these are the three parameters that we are passing to this constructor. These three parameters are basically variables that we declared here, right, and whose values we took from the user. Okay, let's assume that the user inputs, when we take the input from the user gives us this name Ahmed, right? So this is the name, this is the value that is going to be assigned to this variable, and then this variable is being passed as the second parameter here, and the second parameter within our constructor is this parameter, right? So we're calling the constructor, and this is the second parameter, and the second parameter is name, for which the value Ahmed was given, right? So in our constructor here, right, the second parameter is also called name, right? And then this value of name is being assigned to the first name, right? So first name is going to become what? It's going to become Ahmed, right? So first name will get the value Ahmed, and this happens when the object p1 is instantiated, right? So this initial value of this name Asad is assigned to first name when this object is instantiated, right? Okay, now what if I do something like this? What if I do something like console dot writeline p1 dot first name? So I want to print this name, right? I want to print the first name, right? So I am doing something like this, p1 dot first name. I'm trying to access first name, but this will not work out, as we've already discussed in the previous videos, because first name is what? Private. We can't directly access first name. So first name has this value Ahmed right now. We know that because that's what we are supposing in our example, right? We are supposing that this was the input that was given. So first name was initialized to Ahmed, right? But when we try and print this first name using the console.writeline instruction, this will not work, right? Because first name is declared as what? Private. So what if you want to read the first name, right? So what if you want to access that value that is stored in first name? What do you do? Okay, so what's the solution that we've come up with? And this is the solution. The solution is that we've written a method, and that method is basically a function, and you should know that a function always returns a value, and in this case the function is returning a string value, and because we're trying to read the name, right, and the name is what? The name is a string data type, right? First name is string data type. That's why this function is returning a string value, and look at the statement inside. We are trying to return the first name, right? So we've written so what we've done is we've written a method that is going to return the first name, okay, and the name of the method, the identifier of the method, is get first name. And this is the same strategy that we are applying, because we are now trying to read this value. We are trying to read this value of first name. We are trying to find out what the value of first name is, right? So we've declared a method for that, just like we had declared a method to assign a value to first name. Now we have declared a method to read the value of first name. Okay, and this time we are using a function instead of a subroutine, right? And we're using a function instead of a subroutine or a procedure, right? Because the function returns a value. See, what we're doing here is this time when we are using console.writeLine, we are calling this function get first name, and when p1 dot get first name executes, when p1 dot get first name executes, we are basically placing a call to this function. This function is going to return this value of first name, and that value we'll receive here, right? And that value will then therefore be output in our output window, right? So this value will now be output because the function is going to return the first name, right? But what we are doing here is we are not directly able to access first name, because first name has been declared as what? It has been declared as private. We have declared a method, right? And it is through that method that we are accessing first name. So that's the standard practice in classes, right? That is what we are always going to do. We are going to declare methods to assign values to our attributes. We are going to declare methods to read values of our attributes, or to find out values of our attributes. We are going to we're going to be declaring methods for that also. Okay, and for the person class, this is our complete definition, right? What we have here is these are the attributes, right? We have 3 attributes. We have a constructor, right? And then we have these 2 methods through which we can assign values to first name as well as gender, right? So we are using these methods to assign first values to first name and gender. And then these 3 here, these are methods that we are using to read values of attributes, right? So we have this function to read to find out the first name, this function to find out the gender, and this function to find out the CNIC number, right? So that's a complete definition. So the key concept here is that we are going to write methods to assign values to attributes, and we are going to write methods to read values of attributes. And finally, the attributes must be declared as private, right? So attributes must be declared as private. If they are to be accessed, then we are going to use methods to access these attributes. These attributes cannot be directly accessed because they are private. We are only going to access them using these methods, okay?